This is my review of the Quechua Air Seconds 4.1 from Decathlon, an inflatable family tent which is designed for camping with the car, not for putting it in the backpack, because you know it's 15 kilograms, so I guess you understand. It's available in Decathlon in most countries where actually Decathlon operates. I leave the direct link to the exact model of the tent in the description and in the pinned comment of this video. I use this tent with multiple trips with my family, including 5-day trip, for example, with 3 days of heavy raining and another trip to Bavarian Alps during really strong heat wave. First of all, generally I'm owning this flat more than 2 years. I've used it multiple times, so I have something to say to you. First, what kind of tent this actually is. This is not a backpacking tent. It's heavy, it comes with the large bag. You drive to the campsite, take it out from the trunk, set it up, and that's the intended use case. The name 4.1 tells you the layout. People can sleep in it plus a vestibule room. For family of 2 adults and 2 kids the size is perfect. For 4 adults it works, but it starts to feel a little bit tight. Here is something worth knowing before you buy. The width of the sleeping compartment. It's 280 centimeters wide. This matters because 4 standard 70 centimeters sleeping mattresses fit across it perfectly. There are similar looking tents in Decathlon that are 240 centimeters wide, and the difference isn't obvious when you look at the tents side by side, so worth checking the specs before you buy. Now let's talk about air beams and inflatable poles. Instead of traditional rigid pole sections, this tent uses inflatable air beams. In practice, you connect a pump and inflate. As easy as that. Setup is faster than threading the poles, and you don't have to deal with the assembling and disassembling pole sections. The trade-off, I think, is weight. The air beams are made of thick and heavy material because they need to hold the pressure. And I can say that I'm using Decathlon pump and it works really fine. It can also inflate sub. It has multiple nozzles, so you can use it for different purposes. I strongly suggest you to buy one. Let me quickly walk through the setup. Setting up takes me around 20 minutes when I do it alone, which is a good time for the tent of this size and complexity. The tent comes with a lot of guidelines, more than you actually need. I only use a few at the back and sometimes couple at the front. The air beams make the structure very stable on their own, especially the sides. In normal conditions, I mean without heavy wind, it stands perfectly without full set of guidelines. I would even say you can use only like 20% of them and it works fine. And the practical note for you if you are camping with kids: fewer guidelines means fewer things for them to trip over. Because you know they are kids, they are running around and don't look where they are going. So I keep the number of guidelines on minimal level on purpose. Let's go inside, starting with the vestibule. The vestibule is the front room. This is where you store shoes, clothes, food and camping gear. The floor is made of a dense material that curves up at the edges like a bathtub. Water cannot flow in from the sides. I also bought a matching floor mat from Decathlon, it's around 40 euros, and it fits the vestibule perfectly and it protects the floor if you are, for example, on rough or rocky ground. The vestibule is not completely airtight. There are small gaps which actually helps with ventilation. On the downside, on very long camping trips, insects and critters theoretically could get inside and steal your food. Next, the sleeping compartment itself. At 280 centimeters wide, as I said before, 4 70 centimeter mattresses fit flat with no awkward arrangement needed. Height-wise, I'm for example 185 centimeters tall and I can stand upright inside without any issues. The compartment seals completely. There is a mosquito net inner door plus an additional darker panel on the top of that. It doesn't block all the light, but that's a tent, it's a normal situation. At least I can say that it works much better than other tents with less thick material. There are separate ventilation flaps in the sleeping compartment that you can open independently. They have mosquito netting, so airflow comes in but insects don't. When everything is sealed with 4 people inside, it gets noticeably warm just from breathing. I also haven't noticed any condensation and ventilation system is really well designed. And coming back to the vestibule section, there is a horizontal crossbar at the top of the vestibule specifically for hanging the lamp, and it's very useful on rainy evenings when you are spending some time inside. But I can say from my experience, sitting at the table with the chairs, it's not quite possible inside the tent. There is not enough space for that, for example, for 4 people. On weather performance, let's start with the rain. I had one of the examples when during the 5-day trip it rained heavily for 3 days, and so I can say that sleeping compartment was completely dry, the vestibule was also completely dry, and the bus stop floor design did exactly what it's supposed to do. Water had nowhere to flow in. The roof window and various vents keep the tent breathing well in normal weather, which prevents the stuffy feeling inside. Now let's briefly talk about other extreme, how it behaves in a very hot weather. On one of my trips there was a heat wave. It was at temperature from 32 to 33 degrees, and we camped with this tent for 4 days. And the tent also performed pretty well, but of course the key is the shade and open ventilation flap. The sleeping compartment stays more or less comfortable, and the mosquito netting on the flaps means you get airflow without insects getting in. And of course the one thing that this tent does not solve, direct sun heating heats the tent to 30+ degrees, and in this case you simply cannot stay inside. It's impossible, it's too hot. One thing that takes practice is packing the tent back up. For example, for me it took 3 or 4 attempts before I actually figured it out. So the technique: before you fold anything, fully unfold the tent and smooth every single panel, completely flat, no wrinkles. Only then start folding it down gradually. If you try to crumple it up quickly and stuff it in the back, it won't fit. Not even close. A quick word about pricing and classification. For example, in Germany it usually costs around 400 euro. It's available in Decathlon, and as far as I know, it's also available in all the countries where Decathlon has stores. At German campsites, it's classified as family tent, which typically means different pricing tier compared to the, for example, small hiking tent. Because on different campsites there are different places for small tents and family tents, and they have different pricing and different, of course, availability. So my verdict: this tent does what it's designed for really well. It's ideal for family car camping trips for 2 or 5 days. If you are planning 2 weeks of camping, the kind of long holiday where you want a proper living area with a table and storage, you'll want something bigger. This tent does not have enough living space for that. This is my personal opinion. And now I have some question for you. Have you used inflatable tents before? Because currently I'm thinking of switching this tent to the one with the rigid poles. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you want to see more camping reviews from Bavaria and Germany, subscribe, because more is coming.